I raised my son alone after his father passed. Every meal, every bedtime story, every scraped knee, it was just us. I thought love would be enough to hold us together forever. When he got married, I was happy. She was polite, kind even. I gave them space, helped where I could. But little by little, I started feeling invisible. My home no longer sounded like mine. My voice no longer mattered. Until one morning, she said words that cut deeper than anything I've ever heard. "It's time for you to go, Margaret. We need privacy." I smiled, packed my things, and walked out of the house I built with nothing but silence following me. But she didn't know. I'd left behind something that would make her regret every word she said. I remember the day my husband died like it was this morning. Daniel was only 7 years old, standing in his Sunday clothes at the funeral, holding my hand so tight I thought his little fingers might break. The preacher talked about heaven and God's plan, but all I could think about was the mortgage payment due in 2 weeks, about Daniel's growing feet that would need new shoes, about the fact that I'd never balanced a checkbook alone in my life. That night, after everyone left with their casseroles and sympathy cards, I sat at our kitchen table and cried until my throat burned. Daniel came downstairs in his pajamas, the ones with the little rockets on them, and climbed into my lap even though he was getting too big for it. "Mommy, are we going to be okay?" I wiped my eyes and held him close, breathing in the smell of his strawberry shampoo. "Yes, baby, we're going to be more than okay." I didn't know if I believed it then, but I said it anyway, because that's what mothers do. The next morning, I got up at 5 a.m. I made Daniel's lunch peanut butter and jelly cut into triangles, an apple, and a juice box. I ironed his shirt. I braided my hair and put on the waitress uniform I'd worn exactly twice before, back when I was helping out at the diner just for extra Christmas money. Now it wasn't extra, it was everything. I worked the breakfast shift at Rosie's diner from 6 to 2. Then I'd pick Daniel up from school, help him with homework, make dinner. After he went to bed, I'd drive to the hospital and work the overnight cleaning shift until 4 in the morning. I slept 3, maybe 4 hours a night. My hands smelled like bleach and bacon grease. My feet ached so bad I'd soak them in Epsom salt while Daniel told me about his day. But we kept the house. That little 2-bedroom ranch with the blue shutters and the porch swing that creaked when you pushed it. The house where Daniel took his first steps. Where my husband built bookshelves in the living room that were slightly crooked but held every book we'd ever loved. That house was more than walls and a roof. It was proof that we'd survived. I remember Daniel's first day of kindergarten, how he clung to my leg and wouldn't let go until I knelt down and whispered, "You're braver than you know, just like your daddy." He wiped his nose with the back of his hand and nodded, walked through those doors without looking back. I cried in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Every milestone after that, his first soccer game, his first school play where he forgot his lines and just stood there frozen until the music teacher prompted him, his first date to homecoming where he wore his father's old tie, I was there. When other kids had both parents at the science fair, Daniel had me. When fathers and sons went camping with the scouts, I borrowed my brother's tent and we roasted marshmallows in our backyard instead. "Mom, you don't have to come to everything," he'd say as a teenager, embarrassed when I showed up to his basketball games with a homemade poster. But I did. I had to, because I wasn't just his mother. I was his witness. The person who would remember every version of him, every moment that shaped who he was becoming. The house changed with him. I painted his bedroom 3 times, first with clouds and airplanes, then a deep blue when he decided he was too old for baby stuff, and finally a soft gray when he was 17 and suddenly cared about things looking clean. I replaced the carpet in the hallway when it wore thin from years of him running through it. I fixed the porch swing when the chain rusted. I planted rose bushes along the walkway because my husband always said this house needed more color. Every nail I hammered, every wall I painted, every loose floorboard I learned to fix myself, it was all love made visible. When Daniel graduated high school, I sat in the bleachers and watched him walk across that stage to get his diploma. He'd gotten a full scholarship to state college. My boy, who I'd rocked to sleep while worrying about electric bills, was going to be the first person in our family to graduate from college. He found me in the crowd afterward, his graduation gown askew, and hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "We did it, Mom." "No, honey, you did it." But that wasn't true. We both knew it. Every sacrifice, every double shift, every time I chose paying his school fees over buying myself new shoes, it had all led to this moment. When he left for college, the house felt enormous. I'd walk past his bedroom and forget, just for a second, that he wasn't in there doing homework or playing video games with the volume too loud. I kept his room exactly the same. His soccer trophies on the shelf, his favorite books stacked on the nightstand, the quilt his grandmother made still folded at the foot of his bed. Sometimes I'd sit in there and just remember the sound of his laughter, the way he'd shuffle into the kitchen every morning, hair sticking up in 6 directions, asking what's for breakfast. He called every Sunday. We'd talk for an hour, sometimes more. He'd tell me about his classes, his roommate who snored, the girl in his economics class he thought was pretty. "You sound happy," I'd say. "I am, Mom, but I miss home. It's here whenever you need it." And I meant that. This house, this life we'd built, it would always be here. A safe place to return to, a reminder of where he came from. 5 years later, Daniel called on a Tuesday evening. I was in the garden, pulling weeds and watching the sunset turn the sky pink and orange. "Mom, I have news." His voice was bright, nervous. I knew before he said it. "I'm engaged. Her name is Sophie. We met at work. Mom, she's incredible. You're going to love her." My heart did 2 things at once. It soared because my son had found love, and it tightened because I knew, deep in my bones, that things were about to change. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. I'm so happy for you. We want to come visit next month so you can meet her. Is that okay?" "Of course. I'll make up the guest room." After we hung up, I sat on the porch swing and let it creak back and forth, back and forth. The sound was familiar, comforting. I thought about my husband, about how he would have loved to see this day. How he would have shaken Daniel's hand and told him, "You're a man now. Make sure you deserve her." Change was coming. I could feel it like a shift in the air before a storm. But I was ready, or at least I thought I was. Sophie was beautiful in that effortless way that some people are. Long dark hair, perfect smile, the kind of laugh that made everyone in the room want to laugh too. She brought me flowers when they arrived, white lilies in a glass vase. "Mrs. Henderson, it's so wonderful to finally meet you. Daniel talks about you constantly. Please call me Margaret, and you're just as lovely as he said." We had dinner that first night, pot roast, the same recipe I'd been making since Daniel was a child. He ate 3 helpings, grinning between bites. "See, Sophie, I told you my mom's the best cook." Sophie smiled and took a small, polite bite. "It's delicious." But I noticed she mostly pushed the food around her plate. Afterward, she mentioned she was trying to eat more plant-based. I felt foolish for not asking ahead of time. "I'll make something different tomorrow," I offered. "Oh no, please don't go to any trouble. I'm just particular." The word hung in the air. Particular, not difficult, not picky, particular. They got married 6 months later in a small ceremony at a vineyard 2 hours away. I wore a lavender dress I'd bought on sale and stood in the front row, crying happy tears and sad ones all mixed together. During the reception, Daniel pulled me aside. "Mom, we've been talking. Sophie and I want to move back home for a while, just until we save enough for a down payment on our own place. Would that be okay?" My first instinct was to say yes immediately, to throw my arms around him and tell him this house would always be his home. But something in his eyes made me pause, a hesitation, a question he wasn't quite asking. "Of course, honey, for as long as you need." He hugged me, relieved. "Thanks, Mom, you're the best. We'll pay rent, obviously." "Don't be silly, you're my son." Sophie insisted. She doesn't want to feel like we're taking advantage. The way he said it, like it was Sophie's idea, not his, it should have been my first clue. But I brushed it off. She was just trying to be respectful, that's all. They moved in 3 weeks later with boxes and suitcases and furniture I'd never seen before. A modern gray couch that didn't match my floral curtains. A coffee table made of glass and metal that looked expensive and cold. "Where should we put this?" Sophie asked, gesturing to a large abstract painting, all harsh lines and dark colors. "Wherever you'd like, dear." She smiled. "Actually, would you mind if we moved your couch to the garage? Ours fits better in here." My couch, the one I'd saved up for 12 years ago, the one where Daniel and I had watched 1,000 movies, where I'd held him when he cried about his first heartbreak. "Oh, well, I suppose." "Great, Daniel, let's get it moved before dinner." And just like that, my couch was gone, replaced by something sleek and modern that I was almost afraid to sit on. The changes started small. Sophie bought new dish towels because mine were a bit worn. She replaced the kitchen curtains with something minimalist and white. She rearranged the spice cabinet and labeled everything with a label maker. "Just trying to make things more organized," she'd say with that perfect smile. Daniel seemed oblivious, happy just to be home with both of us. He'd come home from work, kiss Sophie, hug me, and everything would feel normal for a moment. But then I'd notice something else missing. The throw pillows my mother crocheted. The picture frames from the hallway. We're going for a cleaner look. The ceramic rooster that had sat on the kitchen windowsill for 15 years. Figurines feel a bit dated, don't you think? Each change was tiny, reasonable even, but together they felt like an erasing, like someone was slowly removing all evidence that I'd ever lived here. One evening, I came home from my part-time job at the library. I'd cut back to just 3 days a week after Daniel graduated and found Sophie repainting the living room. The warm beige I'd chosen years ago was being covered in a cool gray. "Oh, Margaret, do you love it? I thought the room needed brightening up." Brightening? She was painting it darker and calling it brighter. "You didn't ask," I said quietly. "Well, Daniel said it would be fine. This is his house too, right?" His house, not our house, not my house, his. I went to my bedroom, the only room they hadn't touched yet, and sat on the edge of my bed. My hands were shaking, not from anger, from something worse. Fear. The fear that I was losing my home while still living in it. The next incident was the portrait. My husband's portrait that had hung in the dining room for 18 years. A professional photograph taken at our 10th anniversary, his smile kind and his eyes bright. I came downstairs one morning and found it gone. In its place was a modern print of geometric shapes. "Where's the portrait?" My voice came out sharper than I intended. Sophie was making coffee, her back to me. "Oh, I put it in the garage. It was making the room feel so heavy, all that darkness." That was my husband. "I know, and I'm sure it means a lot to you. That's why I didn't throw it away. It's safe in the garage." The garage, where we kept broken lawn mowers and paint cans and things we didn't want anymore. Daniel walked in then, grabbing his car keys. "Morning, Mom. Morning, babe." "Daniel," I said, my voice tight, "did you know Sophie took down your father's portrait?" He glanced between us, uncomfortable. Yeah, Sophie mentioned it. I mean, Mom, it is kind of a formal picture. Maybe we could put up something more casual of Dad, like from a vacation or something." "It's not about formal or casual. It's about erasing him." Sophie turned around, her expression hurt. "Margaret, I would never. I just think grief shouldn't dominate a space. We should focus on the present, on building our future." Our future, in my house, with my husband relegated to the garage. I didn't say anything else. I just walked out the front door and sat on the porch swing until my hands stopped shaking. Weeks passed. The invisible lines got clearer. Sophie started locking the pantry where she kept her special organic foods, just to keep things separate, so there's no confusion. She changed the Wi-Fi password and didn't tell me. When I asked, she said, "Oh, I'll text it to you," but she never did. Dinners became awkward. Sometimes she'd cook and only make enough for two. "I didn't realize you'd be home," she'd say, as if I was a guest who'd arrived unexpectedly. I started eating in my room. One night, I was washing dishes, the few I'd used for my simple meal, and Sophie came into the kitchen. "Margaret, I've been meaning to talk to you." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. "We really appreciate you letting us stay here while we save money, but I think we need to establish some boundaries." Boundaries? Daniel and I are newlyweds. We need our space, our privacy, and having you here all the time, it's hard to feel like this is our home when you're always around. Always around, in my own house. "I see," I said quietly. "Maybe you could spend more time out, like at your sister's or with friends, just to give us some space to be a couple." I turned to look at her, really look at her, and for the first time I saw it clearly. This wasn't about space or privacy or boundaries. This was about possession. She wanted my house, and I was in the way. I started spending more time at my sister Ruth's house. She lived 20 minutes away in a condo complex with a pool and a book club. "You shouldn't have to leave your own home," Ruth said one afternoon over tea. "That girl has some nerve. She's just trying to make a life with Daniel. At your expense." I didn't argue because she was right. But what was I supposed to do? Force myself into spaces where I wasn't wanted? Make Daniel choose between his wife and his mother? I couldn't do that to him, so I stayed away. Came home late, ate meals alone, made myself small. But even that wasn't enough. It was a Tuesday morning in October. I remember because the leaves were just starting to turn, and I was planning to rake the yard that afternoon. I walked into the kitchen to make coffee and found Sophie sitting at the table with a notepad and laptop. "Margaret, good. I wanted to catch you before you left for the day." "I'm not going anywhere today." "Oh," she looked annoyed. "Well, this works too, I suppose. Daniel and I have been talking, and we think it's time to make some changes." "Changes?" "We love you, obviously, but this arrangement isn't working. We need this house. We're planning to start a family soon, and we need space. Real space." My throat tightened. "What are you saying?" "We think it would be better for everyone if you found your own place. There are some lovely senior communities nearby, assisted living facilities with activities and—" "I'm 68 years old, Sophie. I don't need assisted living." "Of course not. I just meant you'd have your own space. You could do your own thing, and we could have the house." "My house?" "Daniel's house, technically. I mean, legally it'll be his when. Well, eventually. So why not make the transition now?" I stared at her. This woman I'd welcomed into my home, who I'd tried so hard to love because my son loved her. "Does Daniel know you're saying this to me?" It was his idea. The words hit me like a slap. "I don't believe you." "Believe what you want, Margaret, but it's time for you to go. We need privacy." I went to my room and closed the door. I sat on the bed and tried to breathe, tried to think, tried to figure out how this had happened. My phone rang. Daniel. "Hey, Mom. Sophie said she talked to you." So it was true. "She said you want me to leave." A pause, too long of a pause. "Mom, it's not like that. We just think, maybe it's time. You've done so much for me, and now it's my turn to build my own life. Sophie and I need space to be a family. This is my house, Daniel." "I know, but be honest, are you really happy here? With all the tension, maybe having your own place would be better for you too. Less stress. You could decorate however you want, have your own routine." He was making it sound like a gift, like he was doing me a favor. "I raised you in this house." "I know, Mom, and I'm grateful, but people move on. That's life." People move on, as if I was just an old piece of furniture they'd outgrown. "Mom, are you still there?" "Yes," I whispered. "Look, take some time to think about it. But Sophie's right, this is best for everyone." After he hung up, I sat in the silence. The house was quiet except for the sound of Sophie moving around downstairs, probably already planning where to put the nursery. And I realized something that broke me in a way I'd never been broken before. My son had chosen her over me, not in a dramatic way, not with anger or arguments, just in this quiet, practical way that somehow hurt worse. I packed that night, one suitcase, a few photo albums, my mother's jewelry box, the letters my husband wrote me during our courtship. I didn't take much. Most of it wouldn't have fit in what I could afford anyway. I wrote a note and left it on the kitchen counter. Daniel, don't worry, you won't have to ask, I'll go. The house is yours. I hope it gives you the family you're dreaming of. Love. Mom. I walked out at dawn before either of them woke up, carried my suitcase down the driveway I'd shoveled every winter, past the rose bushes I'd planted, past the porch swing that still creaked. I didn't look back. If I had, I might have stayed, and staying would have killed me slowly. I found a small apartment on the east side of town. One bedroom, old carpet, a kitchen the size of a closet. The landlord said it was available immediately. Utilities included, she said, and it's quiet, mostly older folks in the building. I signed the lease and moved in the same day. The apartment was nothing like my house. No memories lived in the walls, no height marks on the doorframe, no creaky floorboard in the hallway that I'd always meant to fix but never did because it felt like an old friend. But it was mine, and no one could take it from me. I didn't hear from Daniel for 2 weeks. Then he called. Mom, where are you? Your number's the same, but you're not at the house. Sophie said you left. I did. Why didn't you tell me? I would have helped you move. I almost laughed. Would you? Of course, you're my mom. Then why did you ask me to leave? Silence. It wasn't like that, he finally said. What was it like, Daniel? You tell me. I thought you understood. Sophie and I need to build our own life. In my house. It's complicated. No, I said softly. It's actually very simple. You chose her. That's okay. I just wish you'd been honest about it. Where are you staying? Give me the address. I'll come see you. Not yet. I need some time. Mom. I love you, Daniel. I always will. But I need you to think about something. One day you'll have children. You'll sacrifice everything for them. You'll build a life around them. And maybe when they're grown, they'll ask you to step aside. And you'll understand what this feels like. I hung up before he could respond. The days turned into weeks. I bought secondhand furniture from thrift stores, a small couch that sagged in the middle, a kitchen table with mismatched chairs. I hung curtains and arranged my books on a shelf I found by the dumpster. Ruth visited often. She'd bring takeout and we'd sit on my little balcony, watching the sunset. Have you talked to him? She'd ask. A few times, briefly. He's asking about you. I saw him at the grocery store last week. He looked terrible. Good. Ruth raised an eyebrow. That's not like you. Maybe I'm tired of being like me. Maybe I'm tired of making everyone else comfortable while I disappear. She reached over and squeezed my hand. About time. I started a journal. Letters to my husband about what had happened, about what home really means. Dear John, I wrote one evening, I thought home was a place, but I'm learning it's not. Home is the feeling of being seen, being remembered, being chosen. And I lost that, not because of walls or roof or address, but because the person I built that home for stopped seeing me as part of it. I planted flowers in pots on my balcony, marigolds and petunias. They weren't much, but they were mine. I tended them every morning with my coffee, watching them grow. I got a part-time job at a bookstore. It didn't pay much, but the owner was kind and let me take damaged books home for free. I made friends with my neighbors. Doris, who lived next door and made incredible lemon bars. Frank, downstairs, who told terrible jokes and always held the door. My life became smaller, but in that smallness, I found something I'd lost. Myself. 2 years passed. I won't pretend they were easy. Some days I'd drive past my old street and feel my chest tighten. I'd see the blue shutters and remember everything I'd lost. But I kept going. That's what I'd always done, keep going. Then one afternoon, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find Daniel standing there, and he looked like he'd aged a decade. Unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, shoulders slumped. "Mom." Just that one word, but it carried everything. "Come in." He walked into my small apartment and looked around. At my thrift store furniture and second-hand decorations and potted flowers. I didn't know it was like this. Like what? This small, this basic, you should have told me. Would it have mattered? He flinched. We sat down, him on the couch, me in the armchair. The silence stretched between us. Finally, he spoke. "Sophie's gone." I waited. She left 6 months ago, filed for divorce. She'd been having an affair with a guy from her yoga class. She'd been planning it for over a year. I should have felt vindicated, but I only felt sad. "I'm sorry, Daniel." "She sold the house, Mom. Our house, your house. She forged my signature on documents. By the time I realized what was happening, it was too late. Some developer bought it. They tore it down last month. They're building a McMansion there now." My heart stopped, tore it down. "It's gone, everything. The porch swing, the rose bushes, the bedroom where I grew up, all of it." I couldn't breathe. That house, the house I'd built with love and sacrifice and every ounce of strength I had, was gone, erased like it had never existed. "I found something, though," Daniel said quietly. He pulled out a folded piece of paper from his pocket. "It was tucked in the kitchen drawer. You must have left it before you moved out." I took the paper. It was in my handwriting. "Home isn't a place, Daniel. It's people who remember who you are." I'd forgotten I'd written that. A last message I'd hidden, hoping he'd find it someday. "I didn't understand then," he said, his voice breaking. "I thought I was building a life, but I was tearing one down, yours, ours." Tears ran down his face. My son, my baby, breaking apart in front of me. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to tell him he'd made his choice, and now he had to live with it. But I couldn't, because that's not what mothers do. I moved to sit beside him on the couch and put my arm around his shoulders. He collapsed into me, sobbing like he was 7 years old again. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry." "I know, baby, I know." We talked for hours that day, about everything. About how he'd been blind, how Sophie had manipulated him, how he'd chosen comfort over loyalty without even realizing it. "I don't know how to fix this," he said. "You can't fix it. You can only move forward." "How?" "The same way I did, one day at a time." A few weeks later, we drove out to the old street, stood at the edge of the lot where my house used to be. There was nothing left. No trace of the blue shutters or the porch swing or the rose bushes. Just churned earth and construction equipment and the skeletal frame of something bigger and soulless. "It's really gone," Daniel whispered. I reached into my bag and pulled out a packet of wildflower seeds, the kind that grow anywhere, even in poor soil. "Come on," I said. We walked to the edge of the property, where the new fence hadn't been built yet, and I knelt down. Started digging small holes with my hands. "What are you doing?" "Planting." "But they'll just dig it up when they landscape." "Maybe, or maybe some of them will survive. Maybe they'll spread. Maybe 20 years from now, there'll be wildflowers here that nobody planted on purpose, and people will wonder where they came from." I pressed seeds into the earth and covered them gently. Daniel knelt beside me and did the same. "She can erase the walls," I said quietly, "but not what was lived inside them, not the love, not the memories. Those are seeds too, and they grow wherever we plant them." We stayed there until all the seeds were in the ground. Then we stood, brushed the dirt from our hands, and walked back to my car. That evening, Daniel helped me water the flowers on my balcony. "Can I come back?" he asked. "Not to live, just to visit, to be your son again." I looked at him, this man I'd raised, who'd broken my heart and was now trying to piece his own back together. "You never stopped being my son. Even after everything I did. Especially after everything you did. That's what love is, Daniel. It survives everything, even betrayal, even loss, even houses being torn down." He hugged me then, tight and long, and I let him. Now, when I sit on my small balcony with my morning coffee, I think about that house sometimes, about what it meant and what it represented. I thought it was my legacy, my proof that I'd done something meaningful with my life. But I was wrong. The house was never the legacy. Daniel was. And even though he stumbled, even though he chose wrong, he found his way back. Not to a building, but to me. And maybe that's what home really is. Not walls or addresses or property deeds. Home is the people who remember who you are, who come back to you when they're lost, who sit on your balcony and water flowers and say, "I'm sorry, I love you, help me understand." The house is gone, but I'm still here. And some days, that's enough. Some days, it's everything.